And this is the site for the next Armageddon 16. Interesting place to play. I actually got to today's event early, which is Schoon Prep. Oh, we got a dead horse sitting right here. I guess the carnage can get pretty bad here. These are schools. In Glendora, the schools are open as parks on the weekend. So it makes it so you could play. Okay, so the bench area right here is usually where people get their own bench or a part of a bench and they set up. They put all the gear down. Like when the first couple people show up, I'm going to put my gear down and set up here. This park, this school, which is also a park, is picked largely because, and this is not the original Armageddon school, and it's not the one they usually played throughout the years, because look at this courtyard. Look at this courtyard. 130 feet away is the back wall from this point. It's exactly 100 feet by 100 feet by 100 and I think 150 or 160 diagonal. I measured it once. I think it was 155 or something. You got a courtyard with trees with low branches. It makes it so people can't arch their shots, but yet there's still a reasonable amount of room to battle. These bushes can be hairy, but you know, they cleaned up these bushes. These used to be really bad. Like, you used to lose so many darts in here. But no, they looks like they trimmed them back quite a bit. Well, that one still looks about as bad. But nonetheless, this is an excellent, excellent courtyard to play in. The trees have lots of cover. You even got one with 3 stems right there where you can hide behind its fire. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. A place to play. Stanton Elementary. It's extremely, extremely nice. Let's see. This is funny. I like this. Let's mix the two together, folks. Psychologist and electrical. So back over here, the school's kind of a C shape with a courtyard in the middle. Makes kind of a big D, if you know what I'm saying. But most of it's a C. I remember last year I was back here playing Speed CTF, and right there I was holding off the flag with a bird of prey. And put in mind, back then, my bird of prey was not as powerful as it is today. I mean, by like 80, 90 feet per second at least. Not as powerful. And I was able to pretty much hold off a couple of crossbow players back here. It's pretty cool. This year ought to be cool. Now, you may see that school place right there. That classroom. It may look familiar, because that's where the picture was taken. Right here. People take the picture right here. And they shot a picture right there. That's it. Yep. Right there. I was holding my 2 blasters. I was holding a Rebel Yell and a Scare Magna Fire Strike. I was holding them cross hands. So if you ever see the picture, yeah, that's me. And there's the furnace where they burn up all the bad kids. They incinerate them. No, that's just for garbage. I'm just being a shit. Okay, so let me show you how this place is sort of like. It's I say it's a D, but it's sort of like a C, because, well, let's put it this way. This is not the best thoroughfare in the world right here. Usually you got people over here shooting at you from over there. So I say it's a D, but to say, okay, maybe it's a D with a real small, People always hit these poles right here when they fire. You hear clang, 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 number 6 Walshers everywhere. So in this area right here, you got this part. You walk through here. A little bit cover here. The problem is, don't want to end up back there. That's a dead end. Okay, you can't hop over here. That's the kids area, so that's usually off limits during play. But your main thoroughfares are outside of this, and that's why I say it's a C, kind of a D, but a C. So you can see, there it is, right there, and you've got the handball court to take behind. You got the temporary buildings over here, kind of to take behind. But I believe last year the grass was off limits, so you really can't go in the grass. Kind of a bummer. But you can see why anybody would just run for hours and hours in this area. So yep. So there's that outside area. But let's focus on the main play areas. Okay, so you got this outside perimeter right here. You've got about 40-50 feet between here and here. Pretty wide area. Your main areas you want to hold off are the handball courts, definitely. Or use range as your cover. Because other than the corners, you really don't have a lot of area to hide behind. This ends up usually being a pretty big area of battle right here, where the basketball courts are. Now these are not full 100-foot courts. These are maybe, they're small, they're 70-foot courts. They're not that big. And again, nothing to hide behind. Except the corners, the handball court. That's it. That's all you got. So usually when people play, when they play in this park, and I've been to other wars, and this is why it's confusing, I don't remember whether the out of bounds were. I think the grass were out of bounds, I'm not sure. Or maybe they're only out of bounds for some battles. That's a pretty good place to cover behind. That tree, these trees over here, these really thick ones, were pretty good. You can hide behind the trees, and anybody running through, you can pick them off. As you can see, that this kind of narrows a little bit, but it usually isn't a bother. But the thing is, if this is coned off, you don't got to worry about anybody over here. And this is why this is a better thoroughfare than the other side. The reason is because usually there's a lot of battle going on around there, and you want to cut around the back. That's a very good place to hide behind. Doesn't quite give you a shield from the darts, but you got a pretty good chance that if somebody's launching a washer slug at you, it's going to hit the fence and not you. I did that in a few wars. Kind of chicken shit, and so I don't do it anymore, but it's an idea. Okay, so here we are back at this side. And there's some battle over here, usually, but usually the basketball courts with the battle are the ones over there. That's usually where there's a lot of battle. Here, I usually see this area empty for some reason. I don't know why, when people play. So this does not help much, because usually you don't have an ambush of people over there, and usually this area is empty. So this handball court, I hardly see people covering behind it. I believe the kids' area is usually off limits, and you don't want to go in there. That's a dead end. So as you can see, it's a D, but in strategic terms, it's a C, because really the inside part, that hallway is sort of like the inside part. It's a hard notion to really understand, isn't it? Okay, you can't go behind the buildings because there's a fence back there. You can't go between the buildings because there's a fence right there. You're pretty much stuck in the alleyway here. These afford some cover, but not much. The trash cans, kind of, sort of. Wow. There's a psychological part again. All the electrical department, and they're committed because they've combined the electrical and the psychological department all in one. You had to see earlier in the video. If you didn't, well, you know, I'm boring. What can I say? So, there you are. That's Armageddon. That's the place for Armageddon 16. This field right here. And I know a lot of people hear about this battle. A lot of people on the East Coast, they never really, they'll see videos, they'll see pictures, but they don't get a good feel for what it's like.